against the window. 2 a.m. and the city still breathes. I used to rehearse every sentence, trying to make my hurt make sense. Like if I found the perfect words, maybe someone would finally listen. Spent years apologizing softly for every scar I couldn't hide, smiling while my soul went quiet, just to keep the peace alive. But tonight, there's nothing left to prove. Some wounds don't need explaining, some nights don't need a name. Not every broken memory needs somebody else to validate the pain. And maybe healing ain't about erasing what still aches. Maybe my heart deserves compassion, even when it still breaks. I got tired of saying I'm okay, just 'cause silence made folks uncomfortable. Truth is, some storms stay longer, even after the sky turns beautiful. And I ain't ashamed anymore of the days I barely move. No survival don't owe anybody a polished kind of truth. I can breathe without defending every tear. Some wounds don't need explaining, some hearts just heal real slow. And pain don't gotta compete with pain to deserve a little room to grow. So I'll stop asking for permission to feel what I still feel. Maybe tenderness toward myself is the most honest kind of healing. There's a chair beside the kitchen light where I finally sat with myself tonight. No more trial, no more blame, no more blame, no more measuring hurt by somebody else's pain. And the strange thing is, the quieter I become, the lighter my soul feels. Some wounds don't need explaining, some silence says enough. And maybe being human means accepting healing never comes all at once. So if these old scars still whisper, I don't have to be afraid. I can love the parts still hurting without needing to be saved. No more apologizing, no more hiding my tired heart. Maybe this is peace too. the city sounds quieter tonight, like even the streets got tired of pretending. I spent so many years translating every ache inside my chest, turning pain into conversations, hoping someone else would finally get it. Wearing tired eyes like evidence, trying to prove I had a right to fall apart. But grief ain't a courtroom, baby, and hurt don't need permission from another heart. So tonight, I let the silence hold me instead. I'm no longer asking to be understood, no longer explaining why I still hurt sometimes. Some scars live deeper than language, some storms never fully leave your mind. And maybe that don't make me broken, maybe that just makes me real. Maybe peace begins the moment you stop apologizing for what you feel. There were mornings I felt guilty for not being stronger by now, like healing had some deadline and I was somehow letting everybody down. But hearts ain't machines, no, they don't recover on command. Sometimes survival looks like just learning to sit still with trembling hands. And these days, I don't fight my sadness quite as hard. I'm no longer asking to be understood, no longer rehearsing every memory. Not everybody has to know the whole story for my pain to still mean something to me. And maybe kindness towards yourself is the bravest thing a soul can learn. Maybe healing sounds quieter than the world told us it would. Oh, cassettes spinning in the corner, half-drunk coffee by the sink, rain touching softly on the window while I finally let myself breathe. No more comparing wounds, no more shame inside these walls, just a tired heart deserving tenderness after all. I'm no longer asking to be understood, and somehow that freedom feels like life. 'Cause every wound don't need explaining to deserve compassion in the night. So if my voice still shakes sometimes, I won't hide it like before. Maybe honesty ain't weakness, maybe it's what healing's for. Maybe my silence already says enough. Maybe this tired heart never needed to defend itself at all. it's late again, and the apartment feels smaller when the rain won't stop. I used to answer every silence like it was something I had to fix. Turn every ache into a story, trying to make my sadness make sense. Spent years afraid of my own weakness, afraid somebody might look too deep. So I learned how to smile politely while exhaustion swallowed me. But tonight, I don't feel like defending my soul anymore. Tonight, I let my heart be tired without calling it a flaw, without explaining every shadow, without softening the fall. And maybe pain don't need permission, maybe sorrow ain't a crime, maybe some wounds stay tender, and that's alright sometimes. There are memories still inside me that wake up when the house gets still. Old conversations with my younger self, trying to survive what she never should have felt. No, I don't need anybody to measure whether it hurt enough. A bruise don't become less real just because somebody else had it rough. These days, I'm learning not to abandon myself in the dark. To pain, and maybe healing's not a finish line. Maybe it's this quiet room where I finally stop apologizing for being human too. Cassette playing low in the kitchen, coffee gone cold by the sink, rain touching softly on the windows while I finally let myself breathe. No speeches, no dramatic breakthrough, just this strange little mercy of not fighting myself tonight. I let my heart be tired, and somehow that feels like peace. Not because the hurt is over, but because I let resistance lead. So if these scars still ache tomorrow, I won't force them out of sight. Maybe silence already says enough on a night like this tonight. No more explaining every wound, no more begging to be understood. Just this tired little heart finally treated gently. Street lights on wet pavement, another long night inside my own thoughts. spent years explaining my sadness, like I needed evidence to feel, turning every scar into a story, just to prove my pain was real. Always softening my truth, so nobody would pull away. Learn how to smile through exhaustion and survive that way. But lately, I've been wondering who taught me that hurt had to be justified. Maybe my heart doesn't need defending. Maybe these tears don't need a cause. Maybe some wounds were never meant to stand trial in the first place at all. And maybe healing looks quieter than I thought it had to be. Maybe peace is simply learning to stop being cruel to me. There are nights the memories visit, like old records playing low, not loud enough to break me open, just enough to let me know that some pain stays in the body long after the danger leaves. And that don't make me fragile, it just means my heart still feels. And tonight, I finally let myself be tired. Oh, maybe my heart doesn't need defending. Maybe silence already explains enough. Not every wound needs witnesses. Not every soul heals tough. And maybe self-compassion is the most honest thing I've known. The gentle art of staying with yourself when the world feels cold. Rain against the kitchen window, coffee untouched beside the sink, cassette spinning slow in the darkness. And for once, I'm not trying to outrun my feelings, not trying to rename my grief into something easier for other people to hold. I'm just here, and maybe that's enough tonight. Maybe my heart doesn't need defending. Maybe hurt don't have to earn its place. And strength ain't always loud, baby. Sometimes it's giving yourself grace. So if these old scars still ache tomorrow, I won't hide them out of shame. Maybe the deepest kind of healing is no longer needing to explain. No more apologizing for surviving. No more begging to be understood. Just this quiet soul finally speaking gently to itself. kitchen lights still on, rain falling slow outside. I stopped telling everybody that I'm fine when I'm not. Stop rehearsing explanations for every heavy thought. Some nights I still go silent, stare at old shadows on the wall. But I don't hate myself anymore for hurting after all. Maybe pain ain't something that needs permission to exist. Some wounds don't need explaining, some tears don't need a reason why. Not every broken piece inside us needs to be justified. And maybe love begins the moment we stop putting ourselves on trial. Maybe mercy sounds like silence in the middle of the night. I used to measure all my sadness against somebody else's scars, thinking if they survived worse, then mine couldn't hurt this hard. But hearts don't heal through comparison, and sorrow ain't a competition. Sometimes survival looks like just making it through the kitchen. And tonight softly, but I don't owe the world a story to prove what happened to me. And maybe healing ain't dramatic, maybe it's learning to breathe again without apologizing for where your heart has been. Playing low, coffee getting cold beside me, and for the first time in a long time, I'm not interrogating my own feelings. No courtroom in my head, no voice saying toughen up. Just this quiet little moment where being human feels enough. Some wounds don't need explaining, some wounds don't need explaining. Some silence already speaks, and strength ain't always loud. Sometimes it's just finally being gentle with yourself when you're weak. So if these scars still visit me, without shame, without resistance, without needing to explain. Maybe this is what peace sounds like, not happiness, just kindness toward your own heart. Is one of those quiet quiet nights again, where the truth sounds softer than the pretending. I used to hide my tired eyes behind a practiced smile, answer every how you doing, like I owe the world denial. Try to make my sadness smaller so nobody would feel uncomfortable. But pain don't disappear just because you learn to make it beautiful. And maybe I was never meant to carry this alone. You don't have to carry it beautifully. You don't have to turn your hurt into grace. Some wounds were never asking for explanation, just a little room, a little space. And maybe healing ain't impressive, maybe it's just finally telling the truth, that your heart got heavy from surviving what it went through. There are memories still inside me that ache when the house gets still, little ghosts inside the silence that probably always will. But I stopped calling myself weak for the nights I can't outrun the past. Some storms leave quiet damage even long after they pass. And these days I let myself feel things without defense. You don't have to carry it beautifully. You don't gotta justify your pain. Not every scar needs witnesses to prove it left a stain. And maybe self-compassion is the softest kind of light, the kind that meets your broken pieces without asking them to hide. Kitchen light, rain on the window, old cassettes singing low in the dark. And for once I'm not interrogating my own sadness, not asking whether I deserve to feel this way. I'm just tired and finally honest about it. You don't have to carry it beautifully. Some pain was never meant for show, and strength ain't always loud, baby. Sometimes it's just letting yourself be low. So if your silence still holds sorrow, that don't mean you failed somehow. Maybe the gentlest form of healing is stop explaining yourself now. No more apologizing for being human. No more turning pain into performance. Maybe this quiet heart has suffered enough. The TV still glows in the other room, but nobody's really watching anymore. Been years making my sadness prettier, trying not to make nobody uncomfortable. Turned every breakdown into quiet poetry, so people wouldn't call me difficult. Learned how to laugh at the wrong moments. Learned how to hide the weight in my chest. Kept saying I'll be alright soon, even when I couldn't rest. But somewhere along the way, I got tired of auditioning my pain for understanding. I don't owe my pain a performance. Don't gotta bleed out loud to prove I hurt. Some wounds live deep beneath the silence, still aching even when they're never heard. And maybe healing starts the moment you stop begging to be believed. Maybe peace sounds like a tired soul finally allowed to breathe. There are nights I still feel fragile, when old memories move through the dark. Little shadows cross the kitchen floor and settle softly on my heart. But I don't call myself weak now for still caring what I survived. No sorrow doesn't need permission to exist inside a human life. And tonight I let my silence speak for me. I don't owe my pain a performance. I don't gotta explain every scar. Not every wound was meant for witnesses. Not every tear needs a cause. And maybe self-compassion is the softest kind of grace, the kind that sits beside your brokenness without looking away. Rain against the window, cassette spinning low, coffee gone cold beside the lamplight. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not trying to turn my suffering into something understandable. I'm just letting it be real. I don't owe my pain a performance, and maybe neither do you. Some hearts survive in quiet ways nobody else can fully see through. So if your voice still shakes sometimes, that don't mean you haven't healed. Maybe the bravest thing a soul can do is stop hiding how it feels. No more apologizing for hurting. No more making sadness look beautiful. Just this human heart learning kindness a little late. It's 2 in the morning again, and the apartment feels smaller when the rain falls. I used to rehearse my heartbreak before I ever let it leave my mouth. Afraid if I sounded too fragile, shutting me out. So I learned to speak in careful ways, half-truths wrapped in a smile, saying I've been worse before, even when I was barely alive. Funny how survival can start feeling like a performance after a while. You don't have to call it strong just because you made it through. Some nights the bravest thing a soul can do is simply tell the truth. And you don't owe the world an explanation for every scar your spirit hides. Some pain survives in silence, still worthy of compassion every time. There's a coffee cup beside the window, gone cold hours ago, and an old cassette keeps playing softly, songs nobody else would know. I still got memories that shape me, still got nights I lose my sleep, but I don't shame myself for healing slowly anymore, at least. Maybe peace ain't being fearless, maybe it's finally being kind to what still hurts. You don't have to call it strong to say you survived the dark. Not every wound becomes a lesson, some just become part of who we are. And maybe grace is learning you were never weak for feeling deeply. Maybe the heart was never broken, maybe it was just time bleeding quietly. Late night kitchen light, thunder moving slow outside. My reflection in the window looks softer tonight somehow. And for once, I'm not trying to make my sadness understandable, not shrinking it, not apologizing for it, just holding it gently like it deserved all along. You don't have to call it strong, baby, you already carried enough. And every tired heart deserves a moment where survival is enough. So if your voice still trembles sometimes, that don't mean you're still lost. It just means your soul remembers everything it had to cross. No more turning pain into proof, no more asking permission to feel human. Just this quiet little heart finally resting without shame.